So in my last video, I mentioned that there are new union rules regarding payment to audiobook narrators and that I would do a video about it. And here we are. So there were posts made about new union rules being implemented for paying narrators for duet and multicast productions. And I had not received any notification or any communication about this sort of thing, so I reached out to the union rep to get clarification, and luckily, she responded. Again, I've written about this on Threads. You can go read it if you don't want to listen to me talk. But first of all, I want to make this incredibly clear. These new calculations do not apply to ACX contracts, okay? These new calculations do not apply to ACX contracts. Just like a project is considered union or non-union, a project is considered ACX or not. It doesn't matter that you can only contract one producer. The project is an ACX project. So, if you make an offer to your narrator through ACX, these new calculations do not apply to any of your narrators. Okay, so now that has been said multiple times that it does not apply to ACX contracts, if your duet or multicast production is done through a signatory of SAG-AFTRA, because not all production companies are, or if your narrators would like to convert it to a union project but the offer was not made through ACX, here are the new calculations. If a chapter is 30 minutes long, the POV narrator gets paid for 30 minutes, even if they narrated only 15 minutes of it. The other narrator or narrators who make up the other 15 minutes get paid for what they recorded. So if it's a duet and they did 15 minutes, they get paid for 15 minutes. If it's multicast and someone did 7 and someone did 8, they get paid for 7 and 8. But the POV narrator still gets paid for 30. If a POV narrator has 45 minutes, but other people actually do more talking and the POV narrator only does 15, the POV narrator still gets paid for 45 minutes. So now the author rights holder is responsible for an extra 30 minutes that was not recorded by the POV narrator. I'm not here to talk about the fairness of this. There is other stuff involved like prep and leaving dead time to respond appropriately to what is being said, and whether or not people deserve to be compensated for that, I'm not here to debate that. I am here to give you information. So this extra time can obviously add up to extra money for the author rights holder, and potentially a lot of extra money if you've got a lot of narrators and long chapters, etc. This is on top of the collaborative pay bumps that already exist, $100 for dual or $200 for duet as a flat fee. This isn't listed on the paymasters' websites. I don't know why, but people have reached out to the paymasters to confirm that this is true. So, as I talked about previously, authors and narrators have decisions to make on whether to convert these projects to union or not, if working off platform, not through a signatory company. If it's a signatory, you have to. So, as I said before, there is no global Rule 1 for audiobooks, so narrators can take non-union projects. They are not required to convert those projects to union. However, we do this because the union provides us protections and also with healthcare, and we have to meet a certain amount of income, eligible income, in order to qualify for healthcare, which means a certain number of projects have to be converted. And if you don't do a lot of work with production or publishing companies who take that percentage for you and not out of your pay, you have to convert your indie projects. So that is something to take into account as a narrator who does get their healthcare through the union. You need to make the decision on whether or not you can afford to have these projects be non-union or not. Authors, you need to be aware now of these extra costs and make the best decision for your business. All right. Analyze your returns on investment. Ask your trusted colleagues about their income on duet versus dual, etc. We hear a lot of vocalizing on social media about duet being the best and more copies sell. I don't have the data to back this up. I have guesses that if the return on investment was actually exponentially better, as people claim, more publishers would do it, but I don't have the data, so I can't say that one way or the other. What needs to happen just across the board, in general, is be upfront. Narrators, be upfront about whether or not you need to convert this project to union, so authors can budget accordingly. Authors, if you can't afford it, then you may not go with that union narrator, and that's okay. Everybody needs to do what is best for their business. Obviously, these extra payments do not apply for solo and dual style because there is no overlapping dialogue to take into account. So it will be a little bit easier to give quotes based on a total per finished hour duration of the audiobook. And again, if these are offered through ACX, as I believe the majority of indie publishing is, you don't need to worry about it. Side note, if you've already contracted with me and PJ for a duet production off-platform, we will not be converting your projects. That extra money was not in the quote that we gave you, and we are not going to foist that upon you when we didn't know. Now that we do know, we can be upfront about it and let people know about those extra costs and if we need to convert it for my healthcare eligibility. But that will not be something that we are doing with any projects that we have currently contracted. So I do have an indie audiobook how-to production guide. I will be updating it with this extra information, so you can go you know where and click on that and bookmark it and just keep an eye on it. I am constantly updating it, and if I hear anything that says otherwise, if I have misinterpreted anything, I will, of course, make a video addressing that and update the guide accordingly. But I thank you all for listening. As always, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Bye.